Realm, there are many things that can annoy people. Things that make that little vein in your forehead just throb with annoyance and anger. And I have to say that today, I'm having one of those moments.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we found this video by a nostalgia tar by the name of BentheLooney, who has made a part 5 to his Cartoon Network rant. Boy, you can tell where this is going.
Okay. Now let me put a backstory to this. I was going to do a commentary on this, but after looking more at the video, a commentary is not worth it.
No, it's not. No, this is how bad it is. Opponent's Files isn't even worth it.
Yeah, Opponent's Files not even worth it.
Like, everything Charles O will say, no matter how horrible it is, it will just, be meaningless.
Exactly. That's why a not-so-helter skelter rant seems perfect right now in this situation.
Yeah, a helter-skelter rant would have been, an idea, but as we all know, Hobbs is usually never on at this time, but, we must improvise.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I, Loudon Styles, and my cohort Realm Wars bring you a not-so-helter-skelter rant.
Indeed, that.
Gotta
fuck that up.
That made more sense than what BentheLooney says in every one of his rant videos, so let's just put that out there right now.
Well, I guess we have something in common then. Fuck. So yeah, he begins by talking about, for like a minute of his video, he starts talking about, this board game called Doggy Doo that has nothing to do with what he's talking about.
It's just useless filler.
But then again, that's pretty much all his other videos, pretty much.
Useless filler.
But then he actually starts getting on to the actual point of his video, where he starts talking about how he thinks Cartoon Network is starting to suck, as he usually does when that topic comes to his mind. And the first thing he brings up is, the live-action show Level Up. And he said this, and I quote, "Now, I haven't seen a single episode, but I don't think I need to. It's a live-action show on a cartoon channel. Of course it's going to suck."
Now, here's what's wrong with that. He's never watched the show. So how are you going to judge a show you haven't watched? Oh, and also that there's a part where he talks about this show is about teenagers that have a social life and they play video games on the internet. Yeah, I didn't think that exists either.
The one thing that really fucked me over the most, and when I say fuck me over the most, I usually mean mentally, because Jesus Christ, you really think I'd stick my dildo in that shit? But, he basically said afterwards, where it's like, it's a live-action show on Cartoon Network, so of course it's going to suck. Then he said right afterwards, but even if that wasn't the case, it would still suck.
Okay, so how would you know that if you haven't seen it? And no, folks, this is like one of the many contradictions he says in this video. And this is like him being an incoherent, wannabe intellectual fuck-ass.
And that's being nice about it. But anyways, then he goes on to, complaining about the sports show that they're having, Hall of Games, where it's like, oh, it's the Cartoon Network. Cartoons have nothing to do with sports.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does Rocket Power, Wild Grinders, does that ring a bell to you?
Yeah, okay, it's like this. Sports is a type of genre, okay? There are movies about sports. There are some television shows about sports. It's a type of genre. It's a type of story writing or plot writing that some people usually use. It's not uncommon. I've seen it with a lot of other things.
Exactly. So how can you get... So once again, you being biased and saying that sports have nothing to do with cartoons when it's been proven that sports can have a hell of a lot of things to do with cartoons. And also, this whole thing of you bringing up, it's Cartoon Network! Way to take the name of that network literal. Excuse them for widening their audience, Excuse them for the fact of widening their audience and actually listening to people, because I don't know if you noticed this, but people actually ask for live-action shows on Cartoon Network.
Right, I mean, it's all, pleasing to the demographic. That's, what they're trying to do. They understand, oh, maybe if we see this audience that we can entertain, we can get more of an idea on what we can do. And, yeah, another thing that, is really hilarious, too, about this is, ever heard of the movie Space Jam? You want to know who starred in that? The fucking Looney Tunes.
Yep. With Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that was about sports, and the Looney Tunes were in that one. So what does that say?
Yeah, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yep. And the funny thing is, and we'll get to this show later on, regular show had an episode that was about sports.
Yeah. In
But,
fact, I
anyway.
think they had like 2 or 3 episodes that were about sports.
Right. So, yeah, that pretty much shows that cartoons can do things with sports. But the next show that he decides to talk about is Mount Fort Awesome. I can never get the name of that right.
Secret Mountain Fort Awesome.
All right. So his complaints about this show were mainly because he says the characters look ugly, nothing looks interesting, and the plot is drug-induced. I just want to say this. Just like, you know, when he's talking about Level Up, he said he'd never seen a single episode.
How can you talk about the plot when you haven't seen an episode? Jesus, dude. You see, this is why people call you a nostalgic, clueless dumbass. This is why. You don't hear yourself when you talk. You just say whatever comes to mind and think, oh, this sounds really cool when I say it. Like, no. How the fuck do you talk about the show when you haven't seen it? I'm not trying to defend the show or anything because, let's be honest, I've seen Secret Fort and Mount Awesome. I don't like some of the stuff, but every time there's an Uncle Grandpa cartoon up, I fucking watch that.
But you see, he tries to justify himself later on in the video by saying that if I do enough proper research, I shouldn't have to watch something, because if I do enough research and look up information on it, I should know if I'm not going to like it or not.
That is a lame and very weak justification.
Okay,
if you want to fucking review something, you have to fucking at least give it a chance. Watch a couple episodes. Just don't look shit up.
It's like this. Even if you look up, like, all the information that you think you need, you will never have enough. Because, you see, the internet, while it may be a really great source for information, it doesn't have everything for you to justify an opinion on something. It's just you're looking at what someone else thought, you're trying to put it into your words, but the thing is, when you put it in your words, it makes you sound like an idiot because you don't even know what you're talking about, because you have no idea what happens in the show or any ways to make justifications on your opinion, making everything you say invalid.
All because you don't watch the fucking show. Rough translation, I'm too fucking lazy to watch the show, so I'm gonna look up what another reviewer said and change it into my own words. It's like trying to write an essay on a book by looking up someone's essay on the book.
Right. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, do you not see how retarded that is?
Oh, no, he doesn't see it because he's too blind by his own self-ignorance.
Right, he's still too fixated on the past, because, like, everything needs to be like in the Renaissance ages of the cartoons, actually.
Oh, but here's the funny part. Later on, he bitches about 2 characters sounding like they're from the 90s.
We'll get to that. But the next thing that he brought up was, you know, Adventure Time.
Okay, let me just calm down. Because when I heard this, I kind of flipped my shit. I'm not going to lie. I flipped my shit. I kind of... The vein in my forehead was throbbing. I was sounding very incoherent. I couldn't get my sentence structure. I couldn't get anything right because I was so pissed I couldn't see straight.
I'll start explaining this then. He started talking about Adventure Time, you know, saying how he thinks the characters are bland, the story's bad, and the most richest thing that comes from him, the art design and animation is terrible.
Okay, let me tell you the many things that are funny about that. He's not fucking Van Gogh, okay? His drawings look like a 5-year-old took a bunch of Crayola markers, grinded them up, shoved it up his ass, shit it on the paper, and then smeared his ass on it.
Yeah, it's like he starts talking about how, like, oh, the characters when they animate, they don't even have elbows. Sir.
You don't have elbows either.
Yeah, yours doesn't have elbows either. Like, when he tries, you know, doing the whole cross-arm thing, it's like, are his arms just a bunch of waving spaghetti noodles or something?
I mean... I've seen Chris Chan's craptastic Crayola drawings that have more detail than half the shit you made.
Then he starts talking about how, oh my god, you know, I've only seen 2 episodes and that was it.
Okay, so here, once again, How in the hell are you going to judge and give your opinion on the show if you only watch only 2 episodes? How can you talk about the story is bad when you haven't watched more than 2 episodes? Because if you really watch the episodes, you would realize that later on in the seasons and in the episodes in general, they slowly explain backstories of the characters, like Finn and Jake and Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When it comes to good plot writing, you don't want to make it so, like, shorten it, make it really, really simple. Otherwise, it's like, it's going to be predictable. That's the thing you don't want with story writing. You don't want every little action to be predictable. Okay, I'm gonna provide a bit of a warning here, because this is spoiler shit that I'm gonna bring up. So feel free to skip to this part of the rant if you don't want to get spoiled on this shit. But it's like this: Jeff Smith's Bone is a perfect example of this. It is unpredictability at its finest. I mean, and that's what I really love about the story writing. It takes so many great turns with its pathways that it can actually go to. It takes those routes and it takes ways and like. Wow, I so did not see this coming. And you see, there's this little pairing in the series with Phone Bone and Thorn. And some people usually have the idea like, oh, these two need to get together. And there's this one chance that Phone Bone is given where he is able to either A, go back to home with his cousins, or spend the rest of his life with a person who he is constantly wanted to get into a relationship with. Because you see, he loves Thorn to death. He has a huge crush on her. Guess what? He dumped her. He went back to his cousins and sacrificed the one chance that he could spend with his entire life with a person he loved to go back home with his cousins. And you know something? I did not see that coming. I personally thought, he would probably end up with Thorn. But no, he took the opposite route. And that's what I really loved about Jeff Smith's writing. He always, keeps me at the edge of my seat. So you see, here's the thing with plot writing. That kind of unpredictability is what gets people to come back for more, because it's like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? What's going to go on afterwards? Okay, if people, know what's going to happen because, someone's holding their hand throughout the entire plot, it's like, what's the point of writing the story if people already know what's going to happen later on?
Exactly, and I'm just going to bring this up. Once again, you judge something by looks without really looking at it. I had to look at the entire novel of Twilight, like every book, to understand if I liked it or not, and I didn't. Watched the movies, didn't like it. Saw the books, damn sure didn't like it. I watched Family Guy for all of their seasons, didn't like it one bit. I watched American Dad, never liked it. You see, here's the difference between you and me, Ben. I watch stuff in order to form an opinion. I don't just go on the internet and look up another guy's reviews and then follow that guy, but changing shit up. And here's another bit that people probably don't know. I keep talking about how I don't like My Little Pony. I've seen My Little Pony. I watched all the first and second season. I kind of don't like it.
Same thing with Youngblood. He saw, a lot of episodes of My Little Pony as well to make a justification on his opinion on it. He doesn't like it either. And it's not because there was some other guy who was like, oh, My Little Pony is stupid and I don't know why guys would like this. It's for little girls. No, he actually formed his own opinion as to why he didn't like it.
You're not doing this. You're not forming an opinion, your opinion. You're forming an opinion of someone else's and then changing up the words. Like how you went to Secret Fort and Mount Awesome and talked about how the plot was horrible. How the fuck would you know what the plot was if you've never even seen the show?
But then we get to his thoughts on regular show, and one of his complaints is just fucking hilarious because it shows that he can't read, he doesn't really understand, how to read a show's freaking slogan.
Yeah.
And he goes by how, well, regular show is not a regular show at all. It's batshit insane.
Oh, no shit, Sherlock. That's the point of the show.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be irony, all right? That's the kind of irony that the show's title has. And it even says in the slogan, regular show, anything but. How the fuck do you miss that?
Oh, I think his ass pie was like kicking in. He didn't pay attention. I don't think he could read the sentence, it's anything but. Because it was in really small letters,
Right, and obviously someone didn't get a preschool education.
You know what else didn't get a preschool education? My mom! Woo!
Yeah, as you guys see what we did there, obviously.
Of course.
But yeah, it's like this. And for the same reasons that he disliked, Adventure Time, he said the same thing about regular show. It's like, oh, the characters are bland, the animation's terrible, and Rigby looks like a dog with Down syndrome.
Which is funny because you're making fun of your own personal condition in real life.
We're not doing the reference again. I think we got that one up across already.
Exactly. It kind of shows he got his info from Wikipedia. But no, it's funny how he talks about how the animation is terrible and Rigby doesn't look like that. Rigby's got more detail in his fur than you got in half the shit you've ever drawn. Where are you? Where do you get the balls to fucking complain about art style when your art style looks like an infant pissed Crayola markers and made that? Where do you get off talking about art style when you have none to begin with?
Oh, I know where he gets off. He gets off on Disney.
Oh, and Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and then he starts, talking about how, like, oh, the story writing and stuff like this, it makes no sense. It's like, and, this one part that really fucked me over was the fact where he was like, Quest for Camelot explains more shit than this.
There's dead silence for a reason. My brain just died a little bit. Okay. Quest for Camelot makes more sense than regular show. I'm sorry, Quest for Camelot...
Well, actually, he said that about Adventure Time.
Okay, even still, Quest for Camelot makes more sense than Adventure... I'm sorry, but that movie was all about Jaleel White being Jaleel White, Gary Oldman trying to sing, Eric Idle being Eric Idle, and some fucking bitch that tried to be a knight with a blind guy that did more shit than her. She did more shit than her in the entire video.
And he was blind.
He was blind.
And
again, musicals. Don't forget about the musicals,
Yeah, and let's not forget, this is still come from the same guy who said he only seen 2 episodes. How can you make that assumption?
Of Adventure Time or regular show?
Well, both.
Right. He said that to both regular show and Adventure Time. He's only seen 2 episodes. Not gonna repeat myself. You guys already know how fucking dumb that is.
Then he starts talking about, almost naked animals, saying like how it's like, oh, I don't like almost naked animals, because like, who in the hell likes like almost naked animals? Like, I'd rather see animals with their clothes on.
Lame fucking joke is lame and dumb and gay and all kinds of shit.
Yep. And then, of course, he starts talking about how it's like, this is the funny shit that I hear from him, because, like, I just don't understand how he cannot listen to himself and not think something's wrong here. He basically starts to go on how he just starts off by saying, why do you guys have to treat my opinion as something so absolutely horrid?
I can say the same for you. Why do you give a shit why do you give a shit about our opinion about you? And here's the thing. Your opinion, the reason people treat it as absolute horrid, because it is fucking horrid. It's horrible. You don't even think what you say. You just say what's on your mind, and it's like the most dumbest effing thing ever. You don't hear yourself speak. You just say shit just to say shit.
Yeah, it's like you just form opinions out of the absolute bias just because it's not like it is in the 90s, which is funny considering you complained about, regular show for the characters trying to speak like they're in the 90s. There is no pleasing you.
Like, you are a nitpicking, bitter fuck ass. Like, you were bitching about Mordecai and Rigby sounding too much from the 90s when, I don't know, isn't that something you wanted?
Yeah, and then he's talking about how it's like, oh, screw the fact that we have, Disney animation. We need to go with this one because this is the best.
Oh, yes. Total Disney fanboy coming out here. Total fucking Disney fanboy.
Yeah, okay, it's like this. There is a difference between, animation looking absolutely fantastic and expressing your own kind of style. That's what Adventure Time and regular show are doing. They're expressing their own style with their characters. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay,
and that's funny, because out of everybody, Ben, I thought you would understand that considering that you express your style with your shitty self-drawing of yourself.
Oh, and trying to shoot some guy who keeps going in, like, oh, I have an opposite opinion.
I like butts, So yeah, you're bitching about their art style because it's simple. and it's them expressing their own style. You're bitching about that, yet you kind of do the same thing.
And what makes it even better is like, oh, you guys keep complaining about my opinions, yet you have your little character shooting some random guy who has the opposite opinion.
Yeah, and oh yeah, you get pissed off whenever we have a different opinion than yours. So why the fuck are you trying to justify yourself? Because you know what? No, don't even try to justify yourself. You can't even do that right.
Right, and you know, one of the biggest issues that I had with that video, like later on from that part where he was talking about how, oh, you guys shouldn't care so much about my opinion. He goes, keep in mind, I rant to not inform people, but to vent and get things off my chest. Yeah, do you believe that bullshit?
I don't believe it. It's a fucking lie. Dude, you make these videos because you want people to agree with you so fucking badly. And also, how the fuck are you gonna say that you do these videos not to inform people but to vent? Okay, then how come you did that one little part of that guy getting shot because he had a different opinion than yours?
Why is it that you went on a tangent for people disagreeing with you?
Here's a barrier. Why did you get pissed off at people who called you a retard for your wrestling rants?
And did you say he was biased in that one too?
Oh, dude, he was totally fucking biased in those fucking rants. WWE is horrible because they got Rey Mysterio going up against guys bigger than him, though he's done that before in, WCW. But then again, that's a whole different other story.
Then he starts, venting about a show that is not even out yet, the annoying Orange animated series.
Yeah, you're bitching and moaning about a show that's not even out yet. It's going to be out on Cartoon Network, but it's not out yet. And you're bitching about that.
Now I think I know where the Sonic fan base gets this mentality.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
not even out yet. I'm gonna vent anyway.
You pulled a Sonic fag on the Annoying Orange. And you know what? I don't like the Annoying Orange either, but I'm gonna just say this right now. Wait till it comes out before you start bitching about it. Like, really?
Yeah, and then the most biased thing that he stated throughout that entire fucking video was nostalgia equals good ratings.
No, the fuck it doesn't.
Okay, it's like this. It is Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis that was ported to the GBA was a nostalgia game of the very first Sonic game ever made, yet that game sucked ass.
Yeah. Also, how does nostalgic eat good ratings when...
Because it's
here's a good example. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. That's an example. It's not nostalgic, but it's getting good ratings.
Right, and another thing that is also getting a lot of good ratings are Adventure Time and Regular Show. Those aren't really nostalgic.
Oh, and the newly remade version and the newly remastered version of Pink Panther. Like the new art style of the Pink Panther.
Yeah, and I don't know, would Thundercats also be one?
Thundercats is actually getting good ratings.
Yeah.
It's a remake of the original Thundercats. But that's getting good ratings too. The first season went with a bang, and now that everybody wants the second season.
Yep. And it's like, it's not just them making the entire series over again. It's just, aren't they like adding a couple of other storyline elements to it too, making it a bit fresher than the original one?
Exactly. They are changing bits and pieces of the storyline to make it more interesting.
Yeah, so it's, it has some hints of nostalgia, but it's also its own entire new thing.
Exactly.
So yeah, nostalgia doesn't always equal good ratings. I mean, it's a mixed bag.
And it's funny how you say nostalgia equal good ratings, but yet you're bitching about Regular Show just for the sole purpose of Mordecai and Rigby sounding like 90s characters.
One of these things is not like the other things. One of these things just doesn't belong.
Damn,
Is there really anything else to say?
Well, shit, I'm sorry. I'm almost down to the bottle of my Jack. Yes, I've been drinking throughout this entire time because...
No, that's funny. You could make better points when you're drinking than this guy when he's not drinking.
I can make better points not drinking, period. I make better points than BentheLooney, period. Anybody can, because they actually think. Ben doesn't. Here are my final thoughts. you bitch and you complain about people, having a different opinion. It's like, why do you treat my opinion like it's so horrid? Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Every rant you ever make is utterly dumb. It's incoherent babbling. And also, one, you're a weeaboo in denial. Two, you don't even hear yourself speak. And I hate to say this, but for the people that watches BentheLooney's videos and you actually like them? What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's because,
I'm not stupid. You're stupid. The coach is stupid. The whole camp is stupid. That thing flying at you